The vast majority of the cosmos is voids. Gigantic, unfathomably large spaces of empty nothingness. Not just empty like the space between your fingers, but empty in a way that makes the deepest oceans on Earth feel crowded. Bubbles of eternal night, stretching hundreds of millions of light years, almost entirely devoid of galaxies, stars, or light. Imagine a darkness so profound that even darkness itself seems to have vanished. These are the loneliest places in existence. But voids are not just the absence of stuff. No, that would be too simple, too peaceful. Voids are weird worlds of darkness that are growing, drifting, colliding, and merging with each other. They are alive in a cosmic sense, restless, hungry, and expanding. Inside them, space itself is stretched violently, like a rubber band pulled to its breaking point. And here is the strangest part. It is almost impossible to enter them. They are not just holes, they are fortresses of nothingness. Simply put, voids are weird and scary, but they are also the architects of everything we see. They sculpt the entire universe and may ultimately decide its fate. Every galaxy cluster, every filament of stars, every glowing nebula exists only because voids have pushed them aside. Today we know of over 8,000 voids and supervoids, and we keep discovering more. Telescopes like Euclid and the James Webb Space Telescope are finding new voids hidden in the deep cosmic background. No matter how large a cluster or supercluster of galaxies gets, there always seems to be an even larger void lurking nearby, like a cosmic predator waiting in the dark. Let's jump off the cosmic cliff and drop into the heart of cosmic nothingness. You are zooming away from Earth at thousands of times the speed of light. Feel the rush? Probably not, because in the vacuum of space, there is no wind, no sound, no sensation of motion. Only the terrifying silence of departure. You leave our solar system behind. The sun shrinks to a pinprick, then vanishes entirely. Jupiter, Saturn, their moons all gone. Now you pass the Oort cloud, a ghostly shell of icy bodies that marks the boundary of our sun's influence. And then, nothing. Interstellar space. Now we see the entire Milky Way, with its 200 billion stars, and dozens of dwarf galaxies zipping around it like confused moths around a flame. Each of those stars is a sun. Many have planets. Some may have life. But from here, they are just a soft, milky glow. The spiral arms are beautiful but fragile, like a cosmic hurricane frozen in time. 2.5 million light-years away, on a collision course that will end in about 4.5 billion years, is giant Andromeda, a galaxy even larger than our own, with its own swarm of satellite galaxies trailing behind it like ducklings. In the night sky of a planet inside Andromeda, the Milky Way would appear as a faint smudge, easily overlooked. But the two are falling toward each other, pulled by an invisible rope of gravity that neither can escape. We are now moving 1 million times faster than the speed of light. Yes, we are breaking the laws of physics, but this is a thought experiment, so hold on. We see the local group, over 50 galaxies woven together by gravity, rivers of gas, and invisible scaffolds of dark matter. The dark matter is truly invisible. We can't see it, but we know it's there because without it, these galaxies would fly apart. It's like the hidden skeleton of a ghost. This is our pocket of the universe, 10 million light-years across. No human will ever leave it. Not with any technology we can imagine. Not with warp drives or wormholes or generation ships. The distances are simply too vast, and the expansion of the universe is too fast. Except for you, apparently. You are the exception. As we zoom away even faster, now millions of times the speed of light, we see the Virgo supercluster, a colossal wall of more than 2,000 galaxies spread over roughly 100 million light-years. Each galaxy is a city of stars. Each star is a story. And yet, from this height, they are just grains of sand on an infinite beach. The supercluster is shaped like a flattened pancake, with dense knots where hundreds of galaxies huddle together, and long, thin filaments connecting them like threads in a spiderweb. Careful now. You are right on the edge of the cosmic cliff, where the true, deep darkness begins, the local void. This is not a small gap between stars. This is a gigantic empty bubble 200 million light years across. To put that in perspective, light takes 200 million years to travel from one side of this void to the other. Dinosaurs had not yet evolved the last time a photon crossed this emptiness. If the local void were a bright thing, and not absolute darkness, it would fill 40% of the night sky we see from Earth. Imagine looking up at night and seeing a black hole the size of half the sky. That is the local void. All around us are dozens of other superclusters and gigantic voids filled with suffocating emptiness. There is the Perseus-Pisces supercluster, the Coma cluster, the Hercules supercluster, and between them, voids with names like the Sculptor void, the Capricornus void, and the Taurus void. Each one is a desert of darkness, a tomb of silence. You are now traveling toward the greatest and emptiest nothing in existence, right into the center of the Boötes Supervoid, a cosmic desert around 300 million light years wide. That is 3 times the size of the local void, so gigantic that it should contain thousands of galaxies. Based on the average density of the universe, the Boötes Supervoid should be home to at least 10,000 galaxies. But instead, what do you see? You see perhaps 60 galaxies scattered at its edges, clinging to the walls like climbers on the rim of a canyon. The interior? Nothing. You are surrounded by perfect darkness. The most absolute blackness the human mind can conceive. Not the black of a moonless night, because even that has stars. Not the black of a cave, because caves have walls. This is the black of a closed eye, but without the dancing lights of your own retina. There is no up or down, no motion, no sound, no temperature, because temperature requires particles. Nothing to orient yourself. Your inner ear screams confusion. Your eyes send panicked signals to your brain, but there is nothing to see. For the first time in your existence, you understand what true nothingness means. There is not a single sign that the outside universe even exists. The cosmic microwave background radiation, faint but still present. But you cannot feel it. The gravitational pull of distant galaxies? Too weak to notice. You are alone. Completely, utterly, eternally alone. It's an inescapable prison. Not because there are bars or walls, but because there is no direction to escape to. Every direction is the same. Every path leads to more nothing. And this isn't some exotic corner of the cosmos. This is not a freak accident of nature. This is how the vast majority of the universe feels to human eyes. Just silent blackness without any movement. Everywhere. Forever. Although there is something mysterious hiding in the dark. Faint tendrils of dark matter, penetrating into the void like cosmic lichen growing on the tombstone of the universe. You cannot see them directly, but if you had a magical camera that could detect dark matter's gravitational lensing, you would see pale, ghostly threads reaching inward from the walls. They are the fingers of the cosmic web, stretching into the abyss. A miniature echo of the much larger forest of dark matter filaments that forms the scaffold of galaxies and galaxy clusters outside the void. Outside, those filaments are thick and bright with galaxies. Here, they are thin, almost broken, like the last roots of a dying tree. And at their tips, we find faint bluish specks in the ocean of darkness. Void galaxies. These are the loneliest fireflies unable to light up the night. They are the rarest galaxies we know. Very isolated, very lonely. A typical void galaxy might be hundreds of millions of light years away from its nearest neighbor. In our Milky Way, the closest large galaxy is Andromeda, just 2.5 million light years away. That is a short walk compared to the isolation of a void galaxy. Imagine living on a planet in a void galaxy. Your night sky would be almost completely black. No Milky Way band, no Magellanic clouds. Perhaps 1 or 2 faint smudges, barely visible to the naked eye. And that is it, for billions of years. Before we could look deep into space, astronomers thought we lived in a uniform cosmos with galaxies spread out evenly. The idea was called the cosmological principle, that on large scales, the universe looks the same everywhere. But instead, we found that galaxies, cosmic gas, and dark matter were arranged into a vast cosmic web, a recurring pattern of sheets and filaments, organized around enormous empty gaps, meeting at dense knots with galaxy clusters and superclusters. The universe is not a smooth soup. It is a foam, a sponge, a labyrinth of light and shadow. But this structure is not static. It just seems to be because the distances between galaxies are so incredibly vast. In reality, galaxies shoot through space at speeds of millions of kilometers per hour. They are on collision courses, orbiting each other, moving toward the center of larger galaxy clusters millions of light years away. The Milky Way is moving toward the Great Attractor, a mysterious concentration of mass about 150 million light years away, at 600 kilometers per second. And yet, despite all this motion, galaxies always seem to stick to the rims of voids like reflections of light on soap bubbles, which is kind of weird. If they are this dynamic, shouldn't a galaxy occasionally shoot into a void, like a ball rolling into a valley? You would think so. But no. Well, voids are actually extremely hard to enter for galaxies from the outside, at least naturally, because gravity becomes weird at their edges and even weirder deeper inside them. If you didn't know better, you might think voids spit out anything trying to get inside, pushing galaxies to the edge like a cosmic bouncer. The way gravity works is that everything with mass in the universe attracts every other thing with mass. That is Newton's law, Einstein's general relativity, the bedrock of cosmology. And since there is almost no mass inside a void, the cosmic web of galaxy superclusters on their edges are pulling things out of voids. It's like having 1 million people on the outside of a circle all pulling a rope, and only a few people on the inside pulling back. The outside wins. The emptier a void is, the harder gravity pulls on what remains. It's really like a tug of war, where one side isn't even trying. Over time, voids are really only getting even emptier, and the walls and knots around them denser and brighter. Galaxies are slowly drained out of the voids, like water being sucked out of a sponge. The voids become drier, darker, more absolute. Would it be hard to fly into a cosmic void with a spaceship? Well, not technically. The hardest part is escaping the gravity of your home galaxy. Once you are in intergalactic space, there is nothing stopping you from pointing your ship toward the center of a void and firing your engines. You would eventually get there. It would just take billions of years. But it also doesn't make much sense because what exactly do you want to visit inside a void? There is nothing there. No planets, no stars, no gas clouds. Just cold, silent, infinite emptiness. It makes sense to fly into a void if you want to hide. Like really, really hide. Not from another civilization, but from the universe itself. But what cosmic horror would be scary enough for a civilization to try to escape into a cosmic void? Perhaps the death of all stars. Perhaps a gamma ray burst that sterilizes entire galactic clusters. Perhaps a supermassive black hole that is devouring everything in its path. Or perhaps, simply, the knowledge that the universe is dying, and the only way to survive a little longer is to retreat into the deepest, darkest, most silent corner of existence. Galaxies in crowded cluster regions like our Milky Way are very active. Their neighbors' gravity tugs and pulls at them. They collide and merge. The Milky Way and Andromeda will merge in about 4.5 billion years, forming a giant elliptical galaxy nicknamed Milkomeda. In that collision, stars will be thrown around, gas clouds will compress, and new waves of star formation will ignite. It will be glorious and violent. But void galaxies. They are so isolated that they are aging in slow motion. Void galaxies tend to be smaller, bluer, and full of gas. They are birthing new stars slower and calmer than their counterparts in crowded clusters. In a typical cluster galaxy, star formation is often triggered or quenched by interactions with other galaxies. In a void galaxy, none of that happens. They just sit there, quietly turning gas into stars at a leisurely pace. They are the cosmic equivalent of a hermit living in a cave, reading the same book for 1,000 years. So void galaxies could be the last places that will stay habitable in our dying universe. As the universe ages and expands, star formation will slow down everywhere. but it will slow down the slowest in the voids. The last star in the universe will likely be born here, a small, dim, red dwarf in a lonely void galaxy, surrounded by nothing but darkness. That star will burn for trillions of years, long after all other stars have died. So maybe, in 100 trillion years or so, a desperate alien race will embark on an impossible journey to stretch their existence just a bit longer inside a void galaxy. They will leave their dying cluster, cross vast oceans of nothing, and settle on a cold, dark planet around a dying star. They will look up at a sky that has no stars except their own. And they will know that they are the last intelligent beings in the observable universe. There is one more thing that makes voids unique places: dark energy. The mysterious force that most scientists think is accelerating the expansion of the universe and will ultimately cause its demise. Dark energy is not like anything we know. It doesn't clump. It doesn't decay. It seems to be a property of space itself. Every cubic centimeter of empty space contains a tiny amount of repulsive energy that pushes space apart. We can't see dark energy do anything inside our galaxy or inside clusters because there is too much stuff pulling things together via gravity. Gravity is stronger than dark energy at small scales. But inside voids, there is almost no gravity. The repulsive push of dark energy is free to do its work. Here, dark energy blows up the bubbles of nothing. This is where the acceleration of cosmic expansion becomes visible. In the crowded parts of the universe, expansion is barely noticeable. But inside voids, space is stretching like dough in an oven. As voids get larger and larger, they break the structure of the universe. The beautiful galaxy filaments are slowly being ripped apart, like a spiderweb torn by a child's hand. As the emptiness encroaches, walls of thousands of galaxies are thinned out and pulled towards the edges, attracted by much denser regions at the margins, giving space to the emptiness of two void bubbles becoming one. It's a slow, relentless process. Over billions of years, smaller voids merge into larger voids. Larger voids become supervoids, and supervoids become the dominant feature of the cosmos. In the far, far future, supervoids will take over the observable universe, crushing clusters and expanding further and further until the entire observable universe is nothing more than a gigantic void of nothingness. The galaxy clusters that remain will be isolated islands in an infinite ocean of dark. They will drift apart faster than the speed of light, becoming invisible to each other. Any civilization born in that era will look up and see no other galaxies. They will think they are alone in the universe. And in a sense, they will be. The loneliest place in existence will become the only place in existence. Not a single photon from another galaxy will ever reach them. The cosmic microwave background will have redshifted into undetectable radiostatic. The universe will be cold, dark, and silent. The last black holes will evaporate. The last protons will decay. And then, nothing. Forever. Thank you for traveling with the cosmic space. We hope you enjoyed your journey to the edge of existence. Please keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times. And remember, no matter how lonely you feel on Earth, there is always a void out there that is infinitely lonelier. Sweet dreams.